in studio today. We're really, really pleased to have you. You've had a bit of a kind of stop and start to the tour.
Yeah.
Frank Turner.
Hello.
A pleasure. How are you?
Well, I'm sort of on the mend. I've been really quite seriously ill for the last couple of days. We started the tour. I think the thing is, basically, we took a bunch of time off the road, and my sort of usual kind of bulletproof constitution softened with home life and being at home with my missus and with my cat and all that kind of thing. So tour started and I immediately came down with a chest infection. As you can hear, the last of it's still kind of working its way through the system, but I'm back up and we're ready for Belfast tonight.
Well, you've been touring all over the States. You were in Alaska and you said you kind of briefly mentioned something about flying to Mexico, a few flights and one night sleep in 5 days or something?
Yeah, it was a 4-day trip and we did 5 flights, including 2 transatlantic. I had 1 night sleep in a hotel bed. And the rest of it was all sleeping on planes or in airports where I could, and 3 shows. And by the end of that, I was probably ready to be ill, I suppose I'd say.
See, this is what happens when you are a musician, man of the people. You have to put up with these minor things, don't you?
Well, yeah, it's like I say, usually my constitution's a little bit more hardy than it has been. But you know, I'm hoping everybody gets ill on the tour once, in my experience, and I'm hoping I've got it out of the way at the beginning.
You have a new album out. Last time you had less tattoos. Now you've got more tattoos.
Yeah, I've been colouring in slowly but surely.
Yeah, you're just kind of taking your time there and you're continuing to churn out incredible songs. I was just, how do you do this?
You know, it's funny, like, since Positive Songs, Negative People, which came out in 2015, which means I wrote it in 2013, 2014, you know, that's 3 years, you know, and in that time, that's a lot of time to write songs, and I actually had an entire year of writer's block in that, and then I wrote another record, and now I've written this one. So the intervening record, incidentally, is coming out later. I'm just doing things in a slightly different order. I mean, to be honest, until the last sort of year or so, I spent the vast majority of my life on tour. The 3 members of my touring crew have got kids now. I don't have kids yet myself, but you know, I've got a house and I've got a cat and I've got a partner. And
a cat is a kid.
Yeah, well, and just sort of suddenly, for the first time, we're all starting to realise that we're all in our late 30s now, and it's time to kind of, you know, I want to keep touring for the rest of my life, but I don't want to kill myself doing it. So we're sort of relaxing a little bit into our old age.
And has that been part of the inspiration behind this new album? Tell us about the new album.
Yeah, the new record. I mean, Be More Kind. It's out 4th of May. You said, getting in the line that I'm supposed to get in.
Good.
It's more about the state of the world. The last couple of records I did were both sort of about my own romantic ineptitude, and I'm pleased to say that as I've been mentioning, I've sorted that out now.
You've resolved that.
Yeah. Which first of all means that I can write happy love songs, which is a new genre for me to explore.
So now you can take on the world. Yeah,
so I've been writing about sort of things outside of my own kind of field of vision a bit, or at least my own sort of affairs of the heart. And, you know, the world's gone pretty nuts in the last sort of 3-4 years politically. And I didn't want to write a political album in terms of kind of writing about specific issues and politicians and policies and that kind of thing, but I wanted to write about how, as individual human beings, we react to a changing world. So there's a lot of stuff about that kind of thing, and about how we disagree with each other, and how we could do with, I believe strongly that we could all do with being a little more gentle with the people we disagree with.
I know from a lot of people who love your music, they leave with a feel-good vibe. You sing about stuff that's real and that might be a bit crap sometimes, but you leave them with the sun will always rise, you know, joy comes in the morning kind of thing.
Well, as long as you're getting up the next day, there's opportunity to make things, to fix things, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, look, thank you so much. You're going to be playing the Limelight. Belfast fans are a wee bit, you know what they're like. They're out of control.
Of course. It's as ever, I always pick supports for my tours. It's always worth talking about. We've got Arkells from Canada and Homeless Gospel Choir from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who are 2 acts that I adore, and that I've toured with. Both of them on the other side of the Atlantic, and I thought it was high time that I brought them over here.
Thank you so much, Frank.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. You ready? You watched your favorite show when the TV died. The biggest power cut in your neighborhood since 1989. Blackout in the center of town, but down in the suburbs where it first went out, they've been asking the question: are you afraid of the darkness? Are you afraid of the darkness? afraid of the darkness too. In the hospital, on the critical ward, too long a breath between the break and the backup of her life support. One system failure and it stopped her heart. One power vacuum and we're coming apart. We should be asking the question. You afraid of the darkness? You afraid of the darkness? I'm afraid of the darkness too. We're all caught in a blackout, trying to feel our way out and wait for the morning. I'll be waiting for you. So meet me in the middle, meet me in the middle, bring a burning candle with you. Meet me in the middle, meet me in the middle, and I will be there waiting for you. I was in my comfort zone, I was singing selfish songs. I've been taken for granted, everyone understood how easy trouble comes. But it's not enough anymore. We can't just turn around and close the door on a world that's asking uneasy questions. We should be asking ourselves uneasy questions. Are you afraid of the darkness?